Hey guys, Billy Davison here, Davison Pressure Washing Painting. We out here in the middle of the night doing some parking lot striping at this bank. Kind of far out, little ways away from home here. And just getting ready to get this one knocked out. We still got quite a bit to go on this one, but it's coming along pretty good. Getting ready to start doing some curbing and some directional arrows and stuff like that. But it's just so peaceful out here. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's not too much going on out here. And I hadn't seen a car pass by in a while. I'm sure one will be coming soon. Really peaceful out here working at night. Man, I just love parking lot striping late at night like this. And it's just our crew out here, no one else out here. It's just, just come do your work, do it good, and get paid well for it. And just taking it easy. And I got that's a full moon up there. Wow, that's really nice. What that moon is, I just enjoy looking at it sometimes. And I don't have the best vision in the world, but I can definitely see it tonight. That moon is it's a fascinating piece of rock floating around our Earth. We, take it for granted it was responsible for our ocean tides and fertility in mammals. It has a lot to do with us and our crops and a whole lot to do. Sometimes we don't realize to do it. But it's about 250,000 miles away as the flies crow, or the crows fly. 250,000 miles is a long ways, and it's pretty much nothing between this camera and that moon. It's just, once you leave the Earth's atmosphere, it's just an empty void of space between there and here. And other than that, it's that's how space is. It's just mostly empty space. Given the word space, that's why it's been called space. And every now and then you run into a rock or a planet or something floating around. But yeah, it's 250,000 miles away. It has no atmosphere, actually, other than a little bit of ionic atmosphere. That's just some electrical charged particles that happen to be there from the motion of that moon, from my understanding, through our polar fields of the Earth, and sort of kind of charges up some ionic atoms. Other than that, no atmosphere, no air pressure. There's no air. So, here on Earth, we got about 15 pounds of cubic air pressure per square inch, and that would be zero. So you can't take a breath of nothing up there. Matter of fact, where you see the light shining off of that moon, it's well over 200 degrees. It's extremely hot. And although the moon looks white to us, the true color is like a pale green color. But so that's the sun's reflection off of it. So that's about 200 degrees, maybe a little more. I think about 225 degrees Fahrenheit in the direct sunlight. But in the shade, it's almost opposite of that temperature. So it's about a 450 degrees Fahrenheit swing in temperatures between the shade and the lit part. And it's when you're in the shade, it's absolutely darkness because there's no atmosphere to reflect off of to give you any ambient light. It's either you're in the dark or you're not. You're either 225 degrees below zero or 225 degrees above zero. There's no in between. So if you're standing there and you held your hand up and the light shined on one side of your hand, it would be boiling hot, and on the other side it would be almost to absolute zero, which is about 250 degrees below zero. Really fascinating. Some theories show that the moon was formed by a large asteroid hitting the Earth somewhere down there by the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico and ejecting a massive amount of rock and debris into orbit. And then over eons of millions of years, it formed in maybe even billions of years. It's speculated 4 billion years. Another theory is that moon may have come from a different galaxy, a different solar system, maybe even a different galaxy from far away. And it just happened to pass by the Earth, and our Earth grabbed it and sucked it into orbit. That's the capture theory. You know, those theories are very fascinating to think about. My theory is that God put it there. You know, but not all that complicated, but I just say God did it. So it's actually got the perfect reflection not to hurt the night vision of mammals. So, you know, go think about that for a second. How perfect did that come out? It's so perfect that every so many days it gives us a month. And it's like clockwork, you know. So really fascinating to learn about the moon and the lunar orbits and the lunar phases and different things. You know, half moon, quarter moon, crescent moon, that sort of thing. Yeah, lunar eclipse is really fascinating. And but yeah, our solar system is a fascinating place. You know, the Earth is 93 million miles away from the sun, which is considered one astronomical unit. You may see that term. It's called a 1 AU distance from the sun, 93 million miles. We're actually a little bit closer in the wintertime than the summertime. Go figure that one out. So it varies between 91 and 93 million miles. And the moon just kind of follows us along in our orbital path annually, you know. But the sun and the moon is moving at about 66,000 miles per hour in forward motion, being flung around the sun. And it's pretty fascinating that all this stuff holds together, you know. And then to really be weird about it, the sun is moving too at about 500,000 miles per hour, and it's being flung around the outskirts of the galaxy. And like if you look at a hurricane from an overhead shot, and you look at the outskirts of that galaxy is rotating, and there we are, somewhere about 2/3 of the way down on the lower right-hand corner of our galaxy as it's theorized, moving at 500,000 miles an hour in motion around our galaxy. And then, of course, our galaxy is moving to and fro in space. It's being pulled, pushed. The space in between is expanding. Really odd stuff to think about. The space between the galaxies is expanding, but the galaxies are moving. Really hard to wrap your mind around it. But our galaxy is theorized to be, you know, at one point it was thought to be about 30,000 light years across the galaxy. Here recently I've read that they figuring it's about 50,000 light years just to the radius. So that would make it 100,000 light years across the disk. Now some new studies show it might be even bigger than that, up to 200,000 light years across the plane disk. So who knows, you know, it might be decades and decades before we ever know. But what I find really fascinating is our star that we call the sun is obviously our lifeline. You know, it's everything to us. But our star is one of hundreds of millions just in our Milky Way galaxy. Hundreds of millions. And it's theorized that every star has several planets in orbit around it. So maybe we might have some cousins out there somewhere. Who knows? You know, it's fascinating to think about it. But all those stars, I mean, what does 200 million stars mean? What does 400 million stars? What does 600 million stars mean? For me, I can't wrap my mind around those numbers. I once read that it takes about 200 million grains of sand to fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Think about that, 200 million grains of sand to fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And we got the triple amount of those stars just here in our local galaxy group. And each star has several planets spinning around it. Really hard to wrap your mind around what might be out there, what might not. We might be the only one. We may not. All other planets, after you leave Earth, may be sterile. The moon sure seems to be sterile from what they have gathered. Who knows? It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about why we're here, what our purpose is. You know, of course, we go to work, we come home, we raise our children, we wander through life daily, we have our struggles. And what is the purpose? You know, the universe was here long before the Earth. Excuse me. The Earth is about 4 billion years old. Theorized that the universe is about 14 billion years old. So before the Earth came along, the universe was doing just fine without us. And I suspect when we're long gone, the Earth is long gone, that the universe will still be here. To what end, I don't know. And to what purpose, I don't know. But I know that it's fascinating to look at this moon. It's 1/3 the size of the Earth. It only has 1% of the density of Earth. That means its gravitational pull is about 1/6 of what we feel here. So a 200-pound man there only weighs 30 pounds. You know, it's really a sweet place to be if you're a little overweight. And so it's really fascinating to think about our position in our cosmos. And, you know, all we have is this Earth. You wouldn't survive for a second on the moon. So, you know, for what it's worth, we probably need to do our part in trying to take care of our Earth. This is all we got, you know. Until they figure out something else, this is it. I just find it's just a beautiful background, a flag. I guess, you know, it's kind of caught my attention. I want to share that with y'all. We do live, in my opinion, the greatest nation on the earth, and although we got our issues, man, we fight amongst each other like, you know, like brothers and sisters in a family. But I guess if we ever had to pull together, we would. You know, Americans always have. America's been through you know, a lot of hurt and pain here the last month and a half, 2 months, and probably got some more to come. But if we stick together, we'll be all right. But guys, I just wanted to show y'all this. This is some of the scene. This is a day at my office. Sometimes out here parking lot striping, and sometimes you get a chance to contemplate, and you know, kind of makes you wonder. But guys, if y'all need my help personally, my phone number is 985-345-0778. I'm Billy Davidson, and I'm the owner of Davidson Pressure Washer Painting. And y'all have a great night.